Good morning, everyone. Welcome. So, um, yeah, we're going to continue our path to enlightenment, following the meditations on the path to enlightenment. And last week we were just kind of getting into it. What is meditation? Reminding ourselves what is this all about? So, um, today we're going to start getting into guru devotion or spiritual teacher devotion. Um, but first we need to look at some fundamental concepts on the continuity of mind. So, so we need to calm the mind, so that we can work with the mind, and the mind and the body are connected somehow, and so we need to relax our body as well. So make sure that we find a comfortable position, checking our posture, making sure that we're not in any discomfort as much as possible. Feeling that we're grounded to our seat, to the earth. And observe if we have any tension anywhere. Could be in our facial muscles, our neck, shoulders, arms, our back, hips, knees. And if there's any tension, just try to look at it and see if you can release it. And maybe you need just a slight micro adjustment of the body, just to let the tension go. We start to become aware of our breath, the rising and the falling of the breath, the rising and the falling of the abdomen. We'll just take a minute to observe it, not thinking about anything else, not thinking about what we're going to meditate on, what I was doing before, but just sinking our mind and observing this flow of the breath. Then we think about our motivation. Why are we meditating? So maybe it's to become a better person, to be kinder to others, to develop a warm heart. I think all of those are valid, all the way up to bodhicitta, to becoming a Buddha so that we can help all sentient beings free themselves of samsara and the suffering of samsara. So before we jump into this guru devotion or devotion to a spiritual master, just want to look at one aspect, and that's this continuity of mind. It's a fundamental premise in Buddhism. So it can be difficult sometimes for us in the West, but it doesn't have to be. So it's not essential to engaging in meditation, but it certainly helps it. And understanding um, reincarnation is helpful. And this is helpful for us to gain a deeper perspective on some of the steps in the path to enlightenment and gives us perspective of these teachings. And when we get a good appreciation for this reincarnation, then we can fully recognize the uh, this creative process of karma. So the Buddha taught um, that our present life, it does not stand in isolation. And in fact, it's the outcome of our previous existence. And this is crucial for shaping our future lives. So in the West, we don't have um, so much of an appreciation of this connection between this life and past lives and future lives. So reincarnation is not well understood. And it's difficult because from life to life, there's a complete change of body, of country, of the realm, the universe. And we know in this life how difficult it is to remember events earlier in this life. What was I doing at middle age? What was I doing as a teenager? What was I doing as a child? We don't remember those details. We don't remember the transition from one life to the next. I mean, it's not that it didn't happen or it doesn't exist or um, anything like that. It's the obscured mind which prevents you from directly seeing the past, directly seeing the future. And just because they're not able to be perceived, it doesn't mean it didn't happen or it doesn't exist. So this present moment, it's dependent on both a past moment and a future moment. This life is dependent on a past life and a future life. So therefore, this mind, this continuity of consciousness, it's beginningless. And this mind is by its own nature, it's clear and it's knowing. It has these two aspects, clear and knowing. And each person's mind has its own continuum. And because it has its own beginningless continuum, it uh, doesn't come from the mind of the parents. So we can see how this premise of the continuity of mind is it's a fundamental concept um, of rebirth. So to it's good to stretch your mind in this way. The possible becomes probable, then real, and it eventually becomes observable. So as we meditate on the path to enlightenment, we go through these stages, make these contemplations. You'll find that many of the techniques throughout the stages, um, they can be practiced without such a view, but it's best to find that um, these things like the continuity of consciousness, that they can easily benefit each of the meditations. So it's good to bring this up and remind ourselves periodically. So when we look at this Lam path, this path to enlightenment, and these topics, uh, they're broken down into three divisions. So that's the small scope, the medium scope, and the great scope. And the small scope, it begins with the subject of impermanence and suffering. It contains the taking of refuge and the three jewels, and then it has karma in there. And then the medium scope, it contains the Four Noble Truths and the 12 dependent links. And then the great scope has the teachings on the bodhicitta, six perfections, and especially the teachings on the concentration and the wisdom perceiving emptiness. But before those three scopes, we have something that's fundamental to all the scopes, and that's this guru yoga, guru devotion, teacher devotion, um, however you like to call it. And then there's leisure, so freedom. And then there's fortune, to be fortunate conditions. So all three of these they're common to all the divisions, all the scopes. And we all have a different um, we're all at a different stage, and we have a different understanding. We have different karma. We have different capabilities. So some of us will find it easier to practice the small scope, others the medium, others the great. So it just depends on those factors. So we just will resonate with wherever we are in the path. So it's good that we get this overview, and then for our individual practice, we should practice the teachings and the meditations that we understand and we find most beneficial. So when we start looking at this topic of guru devotion, um, and leading a student through the actual instructions, then this is divided into these three components: the actual practice of the guru yoga, um, the leisure and the fortune, and then each of the stages for training the student's mind. So what is this guru yoga, or this um, guru devotion? So a guru is more than just an ordinary teacher, right? This is a spiritual master, or a guide, um, a person that we can make a special commitment to. And through this commitment, then the the teacher can help us develop our minds, and this helps us get there quicker and put an end to suffering and delusion. So in the meditations to come, uh, we'll go into each of these elements deeper, so that we can put together the full picture, the full puzzle of this guru yoga. So um, the first component is the need for a guru, the need for a teacher. And then second, um, the qualities of the perfect teacher. And third, the qualities of the student. So we need to look at those three things so that we're convinced and we have the right mix. And then it's how to practice the guru yoga. And then the fifth is What are all the benefits of relying on a guru? And the sixth point is, what are the disadvantages of not relying on a teacher? And then the seventh component is to meditate on guru yoga. So just thinking about for a moment, the need for a guru, the need for a spiritual teacher or master. And we think that over countless lifetimes, we've been reborn into this samsara, into this um, cycle of uncontrolled rebirths. That's samsara. And we're completely propelled by the delusions and the karma. And these rebirths, um, they ensure a continuous flow of these various forms of suffering, of dissatisfaction, of upset, defeat. So, to escape this situation, to overcome the suffering, to remove our dissatisfaction, um, we've been seemingly unsuccessful, right? Because we keep cycling through death and rebirth. So, we need a guide. We need someone that can show us the true path. Because even for like common activities, like if you want to learn to uh, fly a plane, you need a teacher to explain the correct way, how all the instruments work, to make sure that after takeoff, you have a landing. And that's a physical world learning. So when working with the mind and learning about the mind, we need a teacher just to help us um, achieve these subtle goals of enlightenment because we're not on the gross level anymore. So this guru seems essential to our development, to our spiritual development. So we dedicate all the merits that we've generated during the meditation, especially contemplating what a guru is, what a spiritual teacher is, and dedicate that. May we successfully follow the spiritual teacher. And if we haven't found a spiritual teacher yet, may we find a spiritual teacher as quickly as possible to lead us on the path to enlightenment, help develop our minds in the right direction, removing karma, removing delusion, to become our guide. Thank you, everyone.